This podcast is just for fun. It's all fake. Don't believe us. Look, do your own research.
Don't just... There's more.
I thought, yep, so we got to do that again.
Tanner Sherlock!
Ooh.
You suck.
Okay. That happened.
You know what? One out of how many?
Yeah. And it's a double episode, and that's why. Because I stopped the recording, forgot to start it
all the way
again.
through and then split it up later. Is that a thing you can do? Would that be a better way?
I should. That might be what we have to do from now on.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the only other time that I forgot was a double episode when I
Okay,
recorded
well,
with Mike.
we're going to do a 30-second recap.
Okay, so.
I learned that Dr. Bum...
Yeah, I open it.
Chris Bumstead's.
It tastes like Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, that's cool. How much caffeine is in it?
112 milligrams.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's like between a pop and an energy drink.
I wish
it tastes like pop.
I wish that he would come out with bigger cans.
Are we going to start it over now?
We have to. Okay. Well, I mean, we're sarcastically bringing us up to date,
Tanner,
so we feel
just a very
justified.
Tanner
specific
goobered.
recap.
This is the second time I have ever done this, and I forgot to hit record because we're recording 2 episodes today, and we
I'm glad
paused.
you caught it like 2 minutes in instead of like 20 minutes.
That is actually why I check it every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I just have gotten into the habit of checking it every 5 minutes, and I went to look and see how many minutes we were in so far. And all right, so Phil, I'm gonna send you the positive Bigfoot affirmation. Guess what number?
Do I remember? 16.
What? You got it right.
Oh my gosh.
Courtney, what was... All right, I'm sending you the comment.
I'm so confused. Are we on?
Yes, we're recording. We're recording.
We didn't do an intro.
Oh, let's do it right now.
Oh, welcome to the show.
I thought we were recap. I tried.
Welcome.
In the ancient days of giants, when the earth was wild and free, a creature roamed the valleys, cloaked in mystery. Is he born of angels' blood and man, a Nephilim so tall, or a shadow of the fallen, yet heeding the Maker's call? He's a biblically accurate Bigfoot, with a lineage from the skies. Not a myth or legend, but a truth that never dies. Is he a remnant of the Nephilim, a titan standing tall? Or does he have the word of God upon him, the last to hear the call?
Yeah, I said, I hit record and I was like, we're just going. Oh, gosh.
No, you said let's recap. And so I thought we were trying to recover memories of what we needed to talk about.
We were doing the recap.
You were last week in the dust.
I will say there was
live.
no communication on that on my part.
No,
that's on me.
do an intro.
That's also on me. I apologize. I forgot to hit record. I forgot to communicate.
I thought we were
just are doing things.
regrouping.
We could do that
doing it
too.
live.
Let's do it right now.
We were doing it live.
Oh no.
Luckily, we literally only made it through like maybe 5 minutes.
So you're gonna put the intro at the beginning and then
Nope. I'm just leaving it as is when I edit it.
God.
These guys will enjoy it. They'll laugh because they'll probably go, wait, what happened? Oh, Tanner goofed.
Goodness.
Oh, we paused after part 1.
My mic is trying to run away from the table.
Oh,
This is not good.
do what you got to do.
I don't know what I gotta do. The stand is like...
Oh my gosh!
Oh, that'll have to get edited out. That was so loud.
I'm trying to fix
I don't know where my other remote went.
thingy.
Oh my gosh! We're falling apart.
Dear Jesus, please help us. Protect us.
That's why we didn't pray.
We didn't pray on the second episode. Apparently, we got to pray to start the second episode,
Yeah,
too.
you gotta pray after every bite of, or before every bite of food.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
how you do it.
That's how you do the things.
Oh my
the
gosh.
Things. Stuff and things. Oh, goodness.
Gosh.
Hello?
We're back.
It's me.
I most likely edited out the very loud noises, at least. I probably left in the chaos
Oh my gosh.
because people will laugh and it'll be funny.
Oh my gosh.
So, to recap a little bit, last week we talked about part 1 of the Dulce Base. I left you guys on a crazy cliffhanger. We talked about Jim Karens, and it was a good episode. Welcome back. If you guys haven't already,
I have a headache.
don't forget to join our Patreon, patreon.com/BA Bigfoot. I'm all flustered now. Mm-hmm. I got to calm down, breathe.
Hold on. We gotta finish our Bigfoot affirmation.
Oh, yeah. I'm sending it to you.
Can we just say what I originally said?
Sure.
No, I cheated. You cheated.
Yeah, you have
Okay,
to try to remember what it was.
Something about the earth.
Close. Super close.
Oh.
Keep your feet grounded.
Wow.
And something about movement, and I don't feel like digging it back
Keep
out.
Grounded,
forward.
but keep moving forward.
But keep moving
Ah,
forward, yeah.
digging
So
out.
ground but movement.
Oh my gosh.
Keep moving forward.
Wow.
my
Oh,
gosh.
you know what?
I
The
do not
chaos-
operate well like this.
Chaos is so. I have this thing.
No.
So I'll explain this very
Whoa.
shortly,
How did we marry each
My
other?
zone, bro.
very quickly. Okay. So one time when I was at a disc golf tournament, that was part 1 and part 2. I had a big personal revelation during this. Okay. So this was 1 round in the morning, 1 round in the afternoon, break for lunch.
I think I remember this.
So we went real quick and we ate at Arby's. We brought a big old huge group, not a sponsor. And do not make cracking noises. No, you're good. You can eat it. Phil's going to make mouth noises, apparently.
Oh my gosh. Here you go, Steph.
She's going to love this part. Okay. Anyway, so we went to Arby's. We ate real quick. And then as we were leaving, a couple of us were like, oh, dang it, we forgot to go get more water. So we ran to Maverick, grabbed some water, and then made it back. And I looked down at what cart I needed to start on, and I realized everybody else was starting like right next to where we parked. Mm-hmm. I had to start on literally the farthest point of the disc golf course.
Oh my goodness.
And as I step foot to begin walking, they yell out 2-minute warning. And I was like, it's going to take me more than 2 minutes to get there. And in disc golf, once the 2-minute warning hits, they begin throwing. You then have a certain window that you can throw before you start incurring penalties. They move on and you would forfeit the hole. So you have 2 minutes to start the hole, 30 seconds per shot. And so I had to make it there within the 4-minute window of them having thrown. So I began getting there, and I'm just hustling, and I make it there literally. I make it there in time. I still had a minute to spare, and so I took a second, caught my breath a little bit. I was like, "Cool, I'm gonna throw," and the next 4 holes, just double bogey, triple bogey, bogey, and on a course that I normally am parring and birdieing these holes, the easiest holes on the course. And I was like, what is going on? And I took a second and I realized that even though I made it there, my brain never switched off from rush mode. And so I wasn't taking 2 seconds to take my shots like I normally would in a tournament.
Yeah.
I was rushing because my brain was still like in that fight or flight panic.
Yes.
I got to get here, do this. And so I took a second and I was like, okay, I'm not in a hurry. Take my time. And I intentionally took the full 30 seconds before the next throw. And perfect, parked it, took a birdie. The whole rest of the tournament, I was able to calm down. Ended up fighting my way back down into placing, even though I had shot myself in the foot doing that. Basically, had I not had those 3 holes, I would have won the tournament. But was able to fight back and still placed. And I had a big epiphany that sometimes my brain, and I'm sure a lot of people have this same thing, but for me, once I get started in that fight or flight, like quick, emergency, I don't think through decisions and I'm just in a rush and I do things panically. So right now, part of the reason I wanted to tell that story was to help all of us kind of calm back down, because I don't want to rush through this episode and just like panically share this information quick and it sound like whiplash for these guys. So I'm calming myself down in this, hoping that telling the story helps calm you guys down in it. And now we've been calm.
I'm chilling. So
in the chaos of all of that, to remind everybody, I goofed. I didn't hit record. We've recorded this intro twice now, and we've got some current events now. I didn't get to open my energy drink, so sorry. Second time.
Third time.
Sorry. Current events. So we, to the urging of some of our students, and it's super popular in like culture right now.
Yeah. And a couple of teacher friends.
Yeah, teacher friends.
Who were like, my students told me to watch this.
Yeah.
And then like, you need to watch this. And
so
now I'm saying you guys need to watch this.
Yeah. Courtney and I, we went ahead and we watched K-Pop Demon Hunter
last night.
And I will admit, I actually enjoyed it. I was gut laughing at a couple of points. I'm not even afraid to admit.
The comedic timing's pretty good.
So here's the thing. I will say this. When you hear...
You okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Every person who is like me mentality-wise hears someone say, you should watch K-Pop Demon Hunter, and immediately, no. Immediately, no. I'm never going to watch that. And even when Courtney was like, hey, do you want to watch this? I was like, I've got to do a lot of research for the podcast. But yes, I'll watch it, but I'll keep doing research, thinking that like we'll have it in the background. I'll consume the content. We'll be good. No, I quit researching to watch the show because I got sucked in. That,
and I didn't mention it.
The songs, I was like, the songs are kind of catchy. I'll admit,
yeah.
they're good quality songs, but it's interesting. So I can't give you the whole plot because I don't want to ruin it for people that want to watch it. But basically, the K-pop demon hunters do just that. They hunt demons.
K-pop demons or just demons?
Just demons.
Okay, where's the K-pop come in?
They do so with K-pop.
Yes.
They use K-pop.
So it's an interesting play on the importance of music spiritually.
And worship.
And thinking through practically for just a moment. David was able to cast a demon out using music. Lucifer himself was the worship leader. I think music is more important spiritually than we sometimes give it credit for. And I think that's part of the reason, like you and I, why we hate on a lot of the modern worship, contemporary worship music, is because it's taken something that's really important and dumbed it down to a level. And here's the reason it's dumbed down. If anybody is curious, why is contemporary Christian / modern worship music dumbed down so much? It's designed so that every average Frank on the guitars who's 70 years old and been volunteering forever, or Jim who's a youth leader who's only been playing guitar for a year because they didn't have a guitar player at church, all of them can pick the song up and play it
It's
and play it
functional,
well.
It's accessible.
Easy to learn.
Yes.
Easy to read the music or play the music for. Easy to get the hang of it. Easy patterns.
For people in the congregation to sing along with it and not get lost and not feel like
Yep. Easy to switch out. Easy to switch out.
It's like the
guitar
recorder for sixth graders.
Yeah, it's easy to switch out the guitar for keys, for, a drum box, a full drum set, a bass guitar. You can add or subtract what you need for it, and it's still going to sound good. That is what it's designed for. We were talking in the last episode about iPhone versus Android. The modern worship is the free Android you get from the dealer.
Yeah.
It's the free phone that's it's
sex quality for accessibility.
Yes. And whereas we like Christian rock and metal, which is the high end Samsung of the Android world, and then pop music is the Apple phone. This was on the Patreon.
No, you're right. Don't you take that back.
I'm saying this was on the. So if you want to get into the phone thing, that was our Patreon episode for this week. And so our Patreon people get to listen to that in 3 days. Booyah! Good job, Bice. But anyway, you can hear us ramble. Good job, Bice.
Can I say the premise of what the movie was? Because, the premise of it,
keep us on track,
which you find out in the opening minutes of the movie, and they roll it out pretty quickly so we could get into the story. So I think it's fair that we share it. Is that it'd be Korean culture. There have always been demons, and there has always been the hunters. And the hunters use their voices, which are magically imbued with powers. And also they use weapons and stuff to take out the demons and basically take back the land. And so there's the hunters, then there's versus the demons. And this is all happening in the real world spiritual realm. But the other townsfolk, the other people don't have any idea that this spiritual battle is happening. And so throughout the decades, there have been the musical groups, and it's usually a trio, I think they said, at the forefront, which are the hunters, and they use their voices and they gain prominence and popularity and culture, and they show one in the 60s and one in the 70s and a group in the 80s. And now it flashes forward to and you've probably seen the trio, and she has a giant purple braid down her back.
I have seen nothing.
Okay.
I'm
talking to viewers too, listeners too.
Oh,
so
sorry.
But
I had avoided it at all costs, to be honest.
They're a trio. And so they are the musical group Huntrix. They are a K-pop group, but also their voices and their songs help fight off the demons. Yeah. But the demons are actively trying to,
they're trying to fight back. Yeah.
And their most recent plan, and there is a Nephilim.
Yeah.
In there. There is someone who became a demon.
Phil was unimpressed by that for some reason.
Sorry.
Just looking at his watch. There's a Nephilim in it.
Oh, that's
there's a Nephilim, which is why this teacher friend of mine recommended, hey, you guys should watch this and have a take on it, because you talk about Nephilim. So there's technically a Nephilim. We're not talking about biblical stuff.
It's definitely not a Christian.
It's not Christian
movie.
Yeah, no, it's not Bible based, but a lot of their takes on the spiritual realm, and there's a Nephilim. There's someone who becomes a demon basically by choice, who condemns himself, basically makes a deal with the.
Don't give too many
and there
away.
is. No, I'm not saying who is who.
I know.
Yeah, but here's just the spiritual elements that are there, and then there's just.
You said it's a movie?
Music can be used for evil, or it can be used for good.
It's like an hour and a half.
Is it
It's
live
on
action,
Netflix.
or is
It's on Netflix.
No, it's animated?
Okay,
it's
so
animated, but it's not anime. But it is anime.
Okay.
It's if anime was done in the style of like Into the Spider-Verse. Higher quality too. It's
pretty good quality animation.
It looks like graphic cartoon, but it's not really high quality. It's really good.
If you watch that movie in front of me and ask me what genre it would be, I would just say that it's animation.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it anime, but it is technically anime.
To be fair, you cut me off. I was saying animated. I didn't say anime.
Oh no, she said anime.
Did I cut you off?
No, well, I was asking if it was live action or animated, and somebody started talking as.
Oh, sorry.
Yep. No, I wasn't saying that to you. I was saying that to her because it is anime, but it's animated.
Yeah. Okay, I see.
I would categorize it more as animated than anime.
But the personality of it
not what technically
is still very anime, like the big reactions and the way that the graphics are done and stuff.
It's almost like if you blended American animated movies that all the millennials liked with modern anime and K-pop all created one.
Okay.
It's it's worth the watch. I would say it's
multiple
clean.
songs. Yeah.
It's super clean. It was interesting, but yeah. Anyway, also current events.
interesting. Yeah.
We've got K-pop demon hunters, and then we've got a Trump Jesus thing, monstrosity that went viral. And okay, at best, I will say this about this post. At best, Trump saw it, went, "Oh, that's cool." Share. At worst, he knew that it was basically him as Jesus, and he still shared it. Mm-hmm. The sad thing is, and this is genuine. You guys know. I guess nobody really fully knows but anyway, the sad thing is, I don't know which version is correct. Both trouble me equally.
Yeah.
As our president, I would hope that he would understand Christian iconography. Iconography. There we go. Iconography.
Joe. Hey, you came up with the word.
Hey, thank you.
You did. You pronounce it right.
I would have pronounced it right.
You got there eventually.
I always get there eventually.
Keep going.
Yeah. You're good.
The fact that he doesn't recognize Christian iconography, or that he recognized it and still was like, I'm going forward with this. But here's the thing. I noticed something on this.
Oh, yeah?
The creature directly above him in it looks strikingly similar to a lot of the old, like, hieroglyphic as well as cave drawings as well as Native American drawings of a winged creature in the sky, which I would call probably a demon. Everybody's looking up the creature above it.
Oh.
Did anybody recognize that when you saw it? Creepy, right?
I'm trying to find a close-up version, but...
This is AI that created this.
Well, yeah.
But somebody posted that somebody had AI reverse the prompt, and the prompt would have had to have been like, imagine Trump as Jesus or whatever. Mm-hmm. But Trump did, and I will give Trump a little credit in that he didn't create it, he just shared it. That at some point you have to take responsibility for the things you share. Mm-hmm. Either way, dudes.
And then Franklin Graham.
Yeah, and then Franklin Graham's like, this isn't what this is. Just shut up, dude.
And then especially
call it what it is. If it was a mistake, say it was a mistake.
But then after,
if your buddy is going to shoot himself in the face, don't step in the way of the bullet.
Yeah, come on, Franklin.
After the Easter prayer
boy.
And the Esther comparison and the was it a Jesus direct comparison or not and stuff, I was like, okay, whatever, I can move on. And then this, and I'm like, guys, do you realize how bad of a look?
Did you see the prayer in which he quoted what's his
Hegseth?
Yeah, Hegseth quoted Pulp Fiction as a Bible verse.
People were like opening their eyes.
Knowing Hegseth, I think I don't know. He seems like the kind of person who would do that on purpose.
Yeah.
And just see who notices.
Yeah. I could see that.
100%. I will give Hegseth more benefit of the doubt than I will Trump. Hegseth is a troll.
Which is still not a lot.
He's
still not good. You shouldn't do that.
Hegseth seems like somebody I would hang around with that's not a Christian, and I constantly have to tell my Christian friends, like, hey, watch out when I go hang out when Hegseth comes over, like, he's that kind of like, but he's a lot of fun to hang out with.
Yeah.
Like, that's who he seems like. He seems like a great fun guy to hang out with, but like doesn't know how to shut his mouth sometimes. Yeah. I could see him 100% doing that on purpose.
I could see that.
But if it wasn't on purpose, even if it is on purpose, it's still wild.
I just saw that and it kept comparing and bringing it back to Samuel L. Jackson's quotes in the movie. And I have not seen Pulp Fiction, but it just kept reminding me of the skit. I can't remember who was with John Krasinski in it, where they were recreating it, and they keep going off the lyrics and then going into the lyrics from Gangster's Paradise and just singing the song through.
That almost.
Tanner, have you watched Pulp Fiction?
It's so funny.
Have you seen the whole thing?
Yeah, I did.
I tried one time I got like 15
not.
minutes in. I was like, I just can't.
It's like the
Boondock Saints.
no it's like
It kind of feels the same.
Boondock Saints is at least watchable.
I enjoyed Boondocks since I watched it. That's been a long time.
The Godfather. It's hyped up as these like
yeah,
greatest movies of all time, but they're almost unwatchable.
and it's just upon itself. Bless you.
Somebody's rage commenting right now, and
Bless
you save it.
Well, it's,
I've heard
it's
the
funny 'cause,
argument.
Like,
I personally,
there are other
I get why you're
Tarantino
into it.
movies
I
that
just am not.
There are other Tarantino movies that I like.
I also wasn't
That
a big fan of Kill Bill, if I'll be honest.
I didn't.
I haven't seen that one
Not
either.
a big fan.
Kill Bill, I can see not enjoying that much. I enjoy it overall, but like, I don't know. I enjoyed Django. I enjoyed Inglourious.
seen that
I
either.
haven't seen those.
But I don't know. Pulp Fiction's too slow.
Dude,
I
it
can't.
took me like 5 months to finally watch this stinking K-pop
Yes,
like
that's-
movie. We
yeah,
finally
right now,
just did it, and I
we're-
was up till 12:30.
We're
I'm miserable.
very much at a point where our TV time is valuable sacredness now because we just don't get to watch a lot of TV.
We don't get time at the end of the night.
And
I'm still up a lot of
because our boys are just right at that age where it's hard, and so we just haven't got to watch a lot of TV. But all right,
Time to get into it.
No,
Well,
I have. I mean, it's either way. So, current events. Have you guys seen all of the missing scientists that are linked to black projects going up missing?
What?
You guys haven't seen that? This is right up our alley. This is why I saved it for episode 2.
That's quite the reveal. No.
Now, if I told you there was 3 scientists that have shown up missing, what would your reaction be?
someone's building a nuke.
If there were 5 that came up missing, what would your reaction be?
What kind of scientists?
They're all linked to black projects, period. Various
Super vague, but
Yep.
yeah.
defense contractors, aerospace, propulsion research, gravity research.
Smells like the CIA.
If I told you 7, what would you think?
Was there a
That's-
freak lab accident?
Missing,
There
not
is-
dead. Missing.
11 scientists that are linked to black projects that are either missing or deceased.
In the last how long?
Recent, within 5 years. Recent,
I feel like-
within the last year, there are 2 that are specifically linked to an anti-gravity research. And both of them went missing, saying that they were going to go on a walk and left phone and devices and technology all at home and disappeared. Both of them
Hopefully witness
Were-
protection.
both of them were talking about that they were concerned, that they felt like people were following them, that there were issues, fearing for their lives. One of them was, her name was Amy Eskridge. She was later found deceased, but they officially ruled it as non-foul play. She was on a hike with a friend. The friend turned back around, and she was gonzo. Didn't find her for like a week.
What?
That's
Apparently, the projects that these 2 researchers were working on were rumored to be suppressed technologies, as in like super black secret anti-gravity, like crazy things. Both of them warned family members before they deceased. Yeah. Also, we've got the government UAP UFO disclosure pushes that are coming. They're all on the kind of soft disclosure stuff. You've got Obama accidentally leaking that aliens are real in an interview. Then you've got Vice
missed
President.
that.
Yeah, you got current Vice President J.D. Vance going on record saying that he thinks that aliens are just demons. You've got all this stuff. All of a sudden, now weather control and geoengineering is in the news, and they're fully admitting that the particles that they release cause health effects, but it's not real. Apparently, still, but how did we go from?
There's no accountability.
How did we go from weather control is fake conspiracy theory to it's real and it causes health issues, but
And
don't
there's
worry
nothing
about
you
it.
can do about it.
And nobody has apologized.
No.
Nobody has gone, hey, you know what? I'm sorry for calling all you conspiracy theorists quackos, crazy psychopaths, all the other
really
names.
Quackos?
I feel
Quackos.
like weather.
Quackos.
Yes, I feel like weather engineering was on the same vein as flat Earth for a while.
Yeah.
People,
Oh, yeah,
if
dude.
if you believed in Bigfoot, people were like, okay, yeah, it's kind of weird, but like you're a little out there. If you believed in aliens, they're like, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. There's probably something out there. But if you believed in weather control or flat Earth,
chemtrails.
you were the conspiracy theorist, psycho, cracked out, whatever people. And now all of a sudden, it's just modern fact that it's real.
2026 is the year of the conspiracy theorist. So many things have come out as being true, or at least very credible in the last 4 months.
A high up FEMA official was on record claiming that he teleported 50 miles to a Waffle House.
Of course, it was a Waffle House.
Actual government official.
Oh my gosh.
Again, classified tech. Why is this coming out? And Bob Lazar has a new documentary that's pushing. Well, Bob Lazar doesn't have the documentary. A new documentary is pushing Bob Lazar back into the spotlight right now.
Sure, he's still
Talking about Area 51. We've got a lot of stuff going on. 2026 seems to be the full disclosure year. So, with that,
That's what 2025 was supposed to be.
Now,
we had no idea what was coming down the pipe.
Now, let's jump back in to Paul and Officer Valdez from last week.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't listen to last week's episode, I highly encourage you to go listen to it. However, I would say you can listen to this one independently and still get a good gist of what is going on without needing to listen to last week's. However, it's a good story and you should go listen. So basically, to summarize it, now would be a good time to stop if you don't want us to ruin the story. But basically, the gist of last week's episode was that an officer in northern Mexico, a sheriff, had began getting a lot of cattle mutilation cases and getting to the point where it was just a regular occurrence. And with these cattle mutilations, they began seeing lights, weird lights in the sky. And no matter how hard he tried to find the lights, they would always evade him. And eventually, another person gets involved who happens to be the police chief of the, I don't want to butcher the name. I want to respect the name, but now I scrolled past it and I don't remember where it was at. Okay. Police Chief Raleigh Tafoya, he's the police chief of the Jicarilla Apache Nation. He gets called where 4 of his own personal cows are mutilated, and as he calls, a light is still there hovering. They begin to chase this light and eventually realize that they need to speak a different language other than English. They begin speaking Apache, and they are able to corner this thing. They unload on it. Nothing happens. Eventually, Paul Benowitz, who is in a separate case in and around the Kirtland Air Force Base, begins noticing weird lights flying in and out of the Air Force Base. He thinks that these are aliens, so he begins to record them and find audio. And these 2 people end up meeting up at a conference that is being put on by the Senator Harrison Smith in New Mexico. And Paul and Valdez meet for the first time, and Paul tells Officer Valdez that he has recorded those lights, and with the radio detector that he invented, he could actually predict when they would appear. It is now at this time, so this is new information. It is now at this time that the FBI awards a $45,000 grant to a retired agent, Kenneth Rommel, to begin investigating the cattle mutilations.
Why does that name sound familiar?
I don't know. I didn't look him up.
Okay.
But it's almost as though the second that he was awarded this grant money, the cattle mutilations stop.
Ah. Ha.
Kenneth Rommel never even steps foot in New Mexico. He collects the $45,000 grant. He does his research using newspaper articles, comes to the conclusion that all of these creatures were killed by predators. They bled out into the ground absorbed the blood, and that then scavengers would take advantage of the carcass and begin feeding on it. And that is when people would come upon these cows. The lights had nothing to do with it and were a strange anomaly.
Good investigative work. Wow.
Never stepped foot in New Mexico. Weird, right? He puts out this article saying that he did it, saying it was predators. Not that he did it, saying that it was predators. And as soon as he is done, his grant has been awarded completely. He is now no longer in the case. He goes back into retirement. In 1980, May 5th, almost as on cue, Officer Valdez gets a phone call. Mm-hmm. This time, a woman named Myrna Hansen calls in claiming that she has been abducted.
Oh, great.
Myrna, this is a process, but there were a few things about her. There was a weird spot on her neck that had appeared and was abnormal, and doctors couldn't really figure out what it was. They just said it was an old scar, and Myrna was like, no, this literally appeared overnight.
It's an old scar.
Weird things.
So mansplaining that to a
yeah. So Officer Valdez gets this call. He does the interview with this lady. He goes through with it, and Officer Valdez admits at this point that he doesn't believe in aliens. However, he knows that his good old buddy Paul does. So he gives Paul a phone call, and this kicks off the next stage of this investigation. So he calls Paul. I want to take a second, actually. Sorry. I want to give credit to the many sources that I took in order to do this. There's
to remind you of that.
Yeah. The Y Files has an episode. There's a Freedom of Information Act. Like quite a few different articles from Freedom of Information Act, from the Vault, from the FBI files. There's a lot of articles online, as well as on YouTube. You can actually go in and watch these people retell these stories on YouTube, like their conferences that they speak about and stuff. The recordings are public. So you can go and listen to all of this stuff and do your own research on it if you want to. There was, I split through a couple different podcasts and just kind of like conglomerated a lot of information, went through and like watched some of the videos and on quick. And so I've got my sources, and I wanted to give credit to the main sources I used, because I think it's important, just journalistic integrity. I don't know. We're not really journalists. Everything we say on the show is fake and made up, and it's all just for fun. So do your own research. But I do like to give credit where credit is due.
Research with fiction too.
Do your own research. Yeah, exactly. Just so we don't get sued. So Officer Valdez doesn't believe in aliens, but he calls Paul to ask. And Paul...
I don't believe in aliens, but let me call my alien expert.
That's kind of where we're at, right? But at the same time, though, like... anyway. So Paul recommends a psychologist who works with alien abductions.
Yeah.
And all three of these people meet in Albuquerque. This professor, I can't get over this name. He's from the University of Wyoming, and his name is Professor Leo Sprinkle. That sounds like that's a CIA name.
Sounds made up.
That is a CIA name, man. They didn't even try with that one. Officer Leo Sprinkle, yes, that is his real name. Professor Leo Sprinkle. He believed, and we've talked at length on this, of the issues of it. He believed that hypnosis would uncover what happened.
Uh-oh.
Oh my God.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's legitimate.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, not again.
So Myrna shows up, and they begin talking about hypnosis and using hypnosis to unlock memories.
Implant.
Yeah, right. And Paul is skeptical. He's a little paranoid at this point. And he suggests that they do the hypnosis in his car. His car, he has decided to line with aluminum foil.
Oh my God.
To block out mind control.
Skip the tinfoil hat. We're going straight to tinfoil van, baby. Yes.
Professor Sprinkle thinks that this...
It's like a baked potato.
Yes. Professor Sprinkle thinks this is stupid, but apparently...
Professor Sprinkle thinks this is stupid.
Yes. This story is... I told you, it gets wild.
There's no way I could ever take this man seriously.
So, Professor Sprinkle
and the baked potato.
But apparently, Myrna actually is comforted by this idea. So she's like,
good for Myrna.
Let's do it. So Officer Sprinkle hypnotizes Myrna. Professor Sprinkle.
Officer.
Yeah, Officer Sprinkle. Officer Sprinkle sounds even worse. Officer Sprinkle. Why does that?
It's like a freaking Wiggles character. What is that?
That is now copywritten. I'm making a kid's joke. Officer Sprinkle.
No, you're not.
Oh my gosh.
Officer Sprinkle touches kids, bro. No way.
No, I was thinking like Donut Sprinkle. Officer Donut Sprinkle.
It doesn't matter.
It does. That sounds so bad.
It sounds actual spit take. Actual spit.
I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh. For those of you listening, which is all of you because we don't have video yet, Courtney just did a spit take onto Bill.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
Water on my lip.
I started coughing.
You're Officer Sprinkle.
Wow. All right.
I'm sorry.
Okay, let's get to it.
It's okay, officer.
All right.
I'm sorry. Okay. Continue. Professor Sprinkle thinks the baked potato is stupid, but Myrna agrees to hypnosis because she's comforted by the tinfoil van.
Exactly. So they are hypnotizing her in the potato van, and Professor Sprinkle, over 2 different sessions, is able to get her to quote unquote remember. Again, we are very skeptical of this, but gets her to remember that she remembers a cow getting transported onto the UFO that she had just been abducted by with a tractor beam. So, remember you asked last episode, is that where we get the cow tractor beam thing? It might be.
Okay. And can I also mention that thing has kind of like... So, like, when I think of cow tractor beam, so they actually, like, in the Spyro games on PlayStation, there's cows that fly UFOs in that game.
Oh,
and
yeah,
so they just go full send with that joke. Anyways.
That is funny.
Go ahead. I've just always thought it was hilarious.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. So they then, this is Myrna sharing this, that they, well, what they uncovered, quote unquote, and that they eventually transported her to an underground base. She remembers seeing human and animal body parts preserved in vats. This will come into importance at a later time, maybe on a future episode, because we're barely scratching the surface on this. They then took her to an operating room and implanted her with a device that would monitor her. So, Sprinkle...
Implanted?
Implanted into
Where?
her.
Okay.
Is that the mark on her neck?
Most likely the mark on her neck. So, Professor Sprinkle was fascinated, but he was really cautious because he even knew at that point in time the hypnotherapy was kind of dangerous. And so he was questioning... Did she remember this stuff, or was Paul's concerns And paranoia, what actually implanted, pun intended, the idea that they were monitoring her, that which would then help her to remember, oh, they implanted me with a monitoring device. Was the situation what prompted it, or did it actually happen? Paul, however, was completely convinced that everything was true, and especially the underground base. So Paul at this point was skeptical, or not skeptical, was paranoid, but he begins to unravel and deteriorate. Just full-blown paranoia, builds up his house into this just like fortress of metal and aluminum and lead. Just lead. I put in the lead part, but just like, just from what I understood, was just built his house into a fortress.
Full schizo rust build.
Yes. I can't confirm lead. I apologize for adding that in. So Myrna is also sharing the same paranoia, and they're like straight up starting to like flip out. She could barely even communicate with people, and they call in Professor Sprinkle to do another session. Officer Sprinkle comes down. He hypnotizes her. Professor Sprinkle comes down. He hypnotizes her. Doesn't uncover anything new. And Paul then is now convinced that the aliens took back over control of her, and that's why they wouldn't allow any new information out when Professor Sprinkle hypnotized her. Professor Sprinkle is convinced that the paranoia of Paul is affecting Myrna, and decides he is no longer feels comfortable continuing hypnosis with them. He goes back to Wyoming, never involved again. So Paul brings in, and this is interesting to me, and this is a connection that I haven't seen anywhere else. Paul brings in a University of California at Berkeley engineer who also, sorry for that burp, who also does hypnosis, named James Harder. I want to create a separate thought just in everybody's brain real quick. The University of California was heavily involved in MK Ultra.
Yeah.
Heavily.
Yeah.
And in fact, they had the prostitution ring that they ran that we talked about during the MK Ultra episodes. That was right outside, real close to the University of California at Berkeley.
Yeah.
So the University of California, if you remember, the University of California, LA is where Jolly West worked.
Yeah.
So
that was the weird name I was trying to remember. Because as soon as we were like Professor Sprinkle, I was like, what was the other dumb name associated with all of this?
Yes. So now we have.
How about that?
We have somebody from the University of California who is an engineer who is quote unquote gifted at hypnosis.
Oh my gosh,
gets called in. So this guy's name was James Harder. So Harder and Paul then spend months hypnotizing Myrna, trying to get to the bottom of it. And eventually Myrna gives up and leaves and disappears to Northern California to never work with them again. However, Paul and Harder build a bond and a relationship and are continuing to be friends. So Paul then, in full paranoia, spends years recording UFO lights over Kirtland Air Force Base. And he then eventually comes to the conclusion that they were coming from a base somewhere in the wilderness, flying into Kirtland, and then back to this base in the wilderness. That's the conclusion he came up with. So Paul also decides that the UFOs are a threat to national security because, I mean, what goes on at Kirtland Air Force Base? There's a lot of stuff with nuclear stuff going on there. So he decides that he is going to reach out and reaches out to Officer Valdez. Valdez says, no, absolutely not. This is a terrible idea. But Paul continues anyway and approaches Kirtland Air Force Base with all of the evidence that he's created.
Bye, Paul.
Paul gets referred to Officer Doty of the Office of Special Investigations, and Paul tells him everything other than that he thought that they were aliens. Paul then takes Doty on a tour of Thunder Scientific Labs, and it is there that he told Doty about the lights and the signal that he found. Doty then schedules a meeting with all of the heads of every different major department at Kirtland Base, brings in Paul, and has Paul share with them the full information of everything that he has found. Meanwhile, Doty also took pictures of his lab, of Paul's lab, unknowing to Paul, and Doty would eventually reveal that he did this, and it'll make sense in the end. So they then determined to Paul's face that there wasn't really anything to Paul's evidence, that they were just weird lights, and that there was really nothing on with this. According to Paul, Doty and a guy named Edward disagreed and went ahead with the meeting with, anyway, sorry, ignore that last part. I skipped ahead. So they met with these people. He unveils everything, shares all of this, lets them know that they think it's aliens, and they kind of turn to each other, shake their heads, and then leave. And so kind of like dejecting Paul in this, okay? But Officer Doty of the OSI takes Paul seriously, at least to his face. And that's not a good spot to end because we still got time. But that is a natural pause. Okay. What kind of wild thought process do you have thinking, hey, I've been recording your military base. I'm going to bring this to you and show you that I've been recording your military base. What? Officer Valdez is like, no, dude. What are you thinking? And goes ahead and does it. Oh, can I tell you, this gets wilder.
Oh, gosh.
I'm just surprised that Paul's not.
We're not even to the 80s.
Disappeared yet.
This thing goes into the 2000s. Okay, we've made it 5 years. We've got at least another episode after this. We'll finish this story, and we'll still have everything about the Dulce Base that has been whistleblowed coming up later in the next episode.
Yeah, awesome.
This is going to be a 3-parter. The third one will probably be a longer episode, 2 short episodes, and then a long one.
Yep.
Okay, fast forward. We're in 1981 now. There's another cattle mutilation. Valdez is investigating. He's called to the scene. While investigating the scene, he finds packets of aluminum chaff. Aluminum chaff is dispersed behind aircraft to mask its radar signature. They're typically spread so thin that it's impossible to detect in the environment. But for some reason, these ones must have malfunctioned and kicked out the whole packet. So Officer Valdez begins to inspect these packets. While doing the investigation, he realizes and comes to find out that this specific shaft, these specific packets, are used to specifically block radar at an observatory in Longmont, Colorado, 400 miles north, even though Kirtland is right there 10 miles away.
Interesting.
And meanwhile, we have 8,000 cattle mutilations that took place in Colorado. Weird, right? Coincidence. So Valdez theorized at this point that the aircraft was leaving Kirtland, going north, and then returning to Kirtland. Paul is still suggesting that they are coming from the wilderness, then going to Kirtland, and from there to other places from the wilderness. But Paul is now suggesting that he thinks that the aliens are working with the humans. Officer Valdez is still pretty convinced that it's just humans. So, why would Doty and another major say they at the meeting were the only two who encouraged Paul? And my question would be, why would they encourage Paul? Well, Officer Valdez is kind of curious, and maybe that they were encouraging him so that they could monitor his research. Paul is convinced that they bought into it because they thought it was a genuine concern, that it was a concern of theirs, and so they needed to stay in the know.
Paul sounds like a really dumb, smart guy.
Yep. So about a month later, Paul gets a call from UFO researcher Bill Moore. New guy enters into the scene.
Okay.
Bill Moore, he's a big UFO researcher from further back east, kind of a big guy in the UFO world, and he's like a pretty decent name. And so Paul was kind of like, why is this guy getting a hold of me? But Paul was like, we need to meet. We need to meet in person. He came off spooked. And so Paul was like, all right, come on. And so Bill travels to Paul's house and meets him at his house. Bill also refused to meet with Paul anywhere other than in a close supply closet that Paul has at his house with music blaring to block out audio.
Oh, so Bill's even spookier than Bill. Bill's even spookier than
He's
Paul.
spooked. Yep. He comes off super spooked. Moore hands Paul a document called Project Aquarius. In this is an analysis from the military of Paul's film and photographs that he had given to Doty, now released as Project Aquarius. In this, there's a photo depicting a cylinder-shaped object, and on the back it read that this is a legitimate photo. There's no tampering, no issues with it. And down below it also read, Paul Benowitz is being monitored by NASA INS. Yes, NASA. Okay?
Oh, man.
And is requesting that all future evidence from Paul be forwarded directly to NASA INS. That no knowledgeable people should be included or provided, and because of the risk of public exposure, that they would continue to receive assistance submitted to NASA and request that they would be allowed to debrief Kirtland, paraphrasing, that they'd be able to then debrief the Kirtland Air Force Base periodically of the ongoing investigation. Mm-hmm. This is where this gets even more wild, okay? Paul didn't know this then, but Moore was actually working with the organization that was inspecting Paul.
Well, that sounds right, because how else would he get a hold of that document?
And here is where I'm going to submit a fun sub-theory that I would like to continue on in a future episode. But we've got all this stuff going on with NASA and Artemis. Mm-hmm. What if all of the moon stuff is just to hide the trillions of dollars that NASA's spending on these aircraft? So they can say they spent $2 trillion to go and fly by the moon. Which I guess that was SpaceX though, wasn't it? But even still, same difference. Just different organization.
Oh.
What if all of the money that they spent on all this stuff was them just building other aircrafts for Earth?
Bro.
So, Paul, he didn't know that this document was fake. It was fabricated. Bill, turns out, he's a patsy. They, NASA INS, and the Air Force, promised to tell Bill that they would let him know all of the real UFO information, but in order to get the info, he would have to feed other researchers fake information.
Dude.
This is wild, okay?
This is a movie.
Dude, I'm going to get through this before we're not even touching what the
Don't just there's more
base, dude. Yeah, okay. So Bill was told that the purpose of this wasn't about the UFOs, because his first thought was, why would they be afraid, or why would they want to dissuade all of these other UFOs researchers and then just share with me all the information? And he brought that up to them, and they then told him it wasn't about the UFOs. They don't care if people know about the UFOs. What they want is actually to hide the actual U.S. government research and let them think that it's UFOs. They straight up tell Bill this. So they want to worry more about hiding their projects than they care about the UFOs and the aliens, and the research on that getting out to public. So they confirmed that Paul was witnessing basically military projects by multiple entities at Kirtland. And so rather than telling them to stop, they tried to expose him in a different way and just kind of encouraged, this is UFOs. So they wanted to embarrass and shame Paul so that his research would then be discredited and all that. So Doty gave the document to Bill. Bill then gives the document to Paul in hopes that he would go to the paper. Paul doesn't go to the paper.
Okay, there's a smart thing.
Yes. Because he knew that if he went to the paper, and so he just kind of theorized, like, we need to do more research on this. So Officer Valdez convinces him not to go to the paper right away. Anyway, continue on. So Bill then begged Paul basically to not go public with the document because Bill started to feel guilty about what he was doing, apparently. So Paul calls Officer Valdez. Valdez, again, believes that these are just humans. Paul showed him the document to point out that it was an object, and Valdez conveniently, or not conveniently, but intentionally, points out that they just said it was a UFO unidentified, not that it was necessarily alien. So they both agreed that they would continue hiding it and continuing doing research. Paul began to accompany Officer Valdez on more of his cattle mutilation cases. They continued popping up. Backstabbing Bill would find out and eventually would ask if he could come along. Yes, I nicknamed him Backstabbing Bill.
I like it.
So Bill wanted to gather more information on Paul to then feed to Doty so that Doty could then... Okay. Paul tells Bill that he wasn't interested in the cattle mutilations, but that he was more interested in the lights that kept appearing around the cattle mutilations. Bill would then go to Doty and share that information. So throughout 1981, the trio of them go and chase down all these cattle mutilations and the lights and all these other things. Meanwhile, Bill is in constant contact with Doty and sharing every move that they are making along the way. So in December of 1981, Doty would actually invite Paul, so military officer Doty, getting kind of impatient, decides he's going to go ahead and invite Paul to Kirtland and show him stuff. So he shows up. So Paul shows up at Kirtland, and they take off in a military helicopter north to Dulce. Doty tells Paul to look down at the dirt road below. Paul does. And next to this dirt road, he sees it leads up to some clearings, some massive storage shacks, and then huge vents that are billowing out steam. Like massive. Like this is massive. Like on a massive scale. Doty tells Paul that he's wanting to become a whistleblower in this whole thing. And so he wanted to give Paul exactly what Paul wanted to, or basically was wanting to give Paul exactly this information because he wanted to blow the whistle and he wanted Paul to disclose everything. They get done. Paul calls and talks to Officer Valdez, and they decide now's the time to tell the Albuquerque News. Albuquerque News takes them seriously, and Albuquerque News, this is wild. So Albuquerque News then decides, let's all hop on a helicopter and go and record this. So they all decide so they go hop on this helicopter, and right as they're coming up over the hill in which the next hill you would be able to see all of this stuff, 3 Blackhawks whoosh, come in and begin pursuit on them. They panic. They immediately fly back to the Air Force base or to the airport to land. They land. The Blackhawks follow them all the way. Get out. Soldiers come out, guns drawn, just fly up to them, screaming and yelling. Officer Valdez tells everybody else, stay in the vehicle, thinking, I'm a police officer. I will go and talk to them, maybe cool things over. So Officer Valdez goes up, talks to him, and immediately goes, you guys are in my jurisdiction. This is my county. Who are you? What are you doing? They then point guns at his face, tell him to get back in the helicopter and go back to the news agency, basically telling them like, this is done. So Valdez is like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and leave. So they leave. Yeah. So that night, Valdez and Paul are confirmed that they found something. But the news media is spooked so bad they don't want anything to do with it now.
Yep, sounds right.
They refuse to run anything in the newspaper.
Fair enough.
They're spooked. So Valdez is saying, hey, let's not anger the military. This is obviously military at this point. Let's not make them mad at us. Paul doesn't care.
Yep.
And so Paul then splits off from Officer Valdez. And in my opinion, leaves all reasoning and common sense with I like Valdez.
Yeah.
I think Valdez made a lot of sense, and he did things a lot of the same way I probably would have. So they split off. Paul then compiles everything into a document. I think it was called Operation Beta is what he named it. He even sends everything to everybody he could imagine would ever take it seriously, including President Nixon. A few weeks later, the president actually sends him a letter back. But it's a stock response. Tells them that no UFO has ever been found to be alien, that there are no threats, and that all this other stuff, talking about Operation Project Sign, in which they went and investigated supposedly thousands of aircraft and came to the conclusion that there's no such thing, this isn't real, all of this other stuff. So Paul then begins to push his report coming out, just pushes it. And some people get a hold of it and start reading through it that are actually like UFO people. And they start to realize this is coming off more like unhinged musings of a paranoid conspiracy theorist rather than like the scientific research that he originally made himself known for. He'd gone full crazy. So Bill tells Paul he can't support the report, trying to, again, follow he's feeling a little bit shameful for what he's been doing to this guy. So Paul's kind of devastated that Bill won't support him in this. So Paul calls Doty.
Dude.
But he calls Doty to tell him that Operation Beta wasn't going to get support, and so he was going to pull it and redact it and stop trying. Doty had, quote unquote, succeeded. According to Freedom of Information files and other interviews, Doty has come out and he had claimed that all of it was staged, that they spent money fabricating this in order to protect their military secrets. But Paul wasn't done. Paul bought an airplane.
Oh no.
He begins to do his own recon, his own research. On one of the flights, he actually comes across a downed aircraft. Paul calls Doty. Doty tells him, hey, you're right. This was a special project. It was a nuclear UFO, but the radiation will be so severe you cannot go up there. It would immediately kill you. You're right. That's what he tells Paul. That's what Paul would come out and say. So Paul stays away for a couple weeks. Then He gets a hold of Officer Valdez. Paul and Valdez then go to investigate. At this point in time, the reason Valdez got re-involved was because the cattle mutilations had caused, at that point, over $1 million in damages to the economy
Sheesh.
in just Officer Valdez's region. So they go and they investigate and they find the aircraft scar, but not a single ounce of evidence of this aircraft. So Paul was smart. He brought a Geiger counter. He starts to do the readings of it. Reads completely clean. So Paul then realizes Doty lied to him. Doty still trying to kind of string him along. Mm-hmm. Doty then sends Paul a letter saying that the aircraft was actually built by Lockheed Martin using alien tech. And that the base itself was where the aircraft had been constructed.
Please tell me, Paul doesn't believe him.
I don't think we actually know for sure whether Paul does or doesn't believe him. But the letter said that it was created with the help of aliens themselves, and that there was another race of aliens that were hostile, and the hostile aliens shot down the aircraft knowing that the good aliens were working with the humans. At this point, I guess we do know. So at this point, Paul flips out, full paranoia. He knows aliens are real. He knows that there's an alien war coming. So he flips out. Bill checks in on Paul. Paul's full-blown unraveling. Paul tells Bill that the aliens are coming through the walls at night to inject him with drugs, and then making him drive his car into the woods, but he couldn't remember what happened. So Bill, looking at Paul, sees track marks on him. Bill assumes he's doing drugs and that he's full-blown delusional. So at this point, Paul goes full cracked, gets put into a mental institution for a month. He's in this hospital. I'll put air quotes, hospital, of my thought process. Who do we know that's involved? So Paul goes into this hospital for a month, and when he gets out, he completely gives up and leaves behind his UFO obsession to never come back to it again. Doty.
That's some high quality healthcare.
Yeah. Doty is then transferred to Germany. And Bill, realizing he got played because they never shared him any UFO information after he did all of this damage to other UFO researchers, comes clean in 1989 and gives a 2-hour speech, which you can watch on YouTube, and basically discloses everything that he had done and participated in. After Paul's hospitalization, Valdez, getting tired of dealing with cattle mutilations, transfers to Albuquerque. And that ends the tale of Officer Valdez and Paul, which kicked off this. We're in the 80s still. Bro. We haven't even got to the 90s, 2000s, or current stuff yet. I thought we would make it further through all of this stuff.
Wow.
But from this point forward, so this is where I want you guys to do some research too on the next episode. Yep. And I want to come forward with current Dulce Base because since then, and I'll tease everybody since this wasn't a super long episode. And so I want to kind of tease people, but to tease you a little bit, we have multiple whistleblowers who come forward in the 90s and 2000s who also have and experienced the Dulce Base. So, my main question with the story that we've heard so far, and this is Freedom of Information Act, this is their actual stories, their books, the beta project, all of that documentation it's there for you to research on your own. That's how it played out. What is the truth? I have a hard time believing that they would spend that much money on somebody who was already cracked out.
Yeah.
Who was already going to release his information to build these giant steam vents, clear out a bunch of forests, build warehouse stuff, put up a road to it, fly him over, bring in the Blackhawks in order to be a part of it. Apparently, according to the Freedom of Information Act, the Blackhawks, I think it was the Freedom of Information. I might be mincing my sources now, but that the Blackhawks were actually Delta Force. And Officer Valdez confirms this because he noticed the patch on them was Delta Force. But that they were involved as a training exercise in order to pursue somebody. And so they got involved as like a protection training thing, according to the government. So now we're bringing in the Delta Force. We're bringing in Blackhawks at the time, which were state-of-the-art, crazy expensive.
Still pretty top end.
You've got this quote-unquote base that's giant but fake. They've staged all of this for one guy who was paranoid, coming off kind of like he's schizophrenic a little bit, who is fully involved in hypnosis, which was discredited, like was already being discredited at this point in time. We're going to spend all this money just to dissuade or to make one single guy look crazy. But part of me, because of what I believe of what UFOs are, believes that maybe all of this was a ruse in order to try to get people believing in UFOs, to think they're UFOs, to get them away from the reality that all of this is just our own government, Lockheed Martin, our own tax dollars being spent on military aircraft. According to the Freedom of Information Act, they were the F-117s. Apparently that's what he was seeing all over these space, and that's what was being spotted. But that doesn't track with the like hovering UFOs and lights and stuff that Officer Valdez saw. There's this story, if you just believe that story and that's the way it goes, there's a lot of missing pieces in my opinion. I don't see our government going to those lengths for one crazy dude.
Yeah.
However, this one crazy dude, but then again, maybe this guy was actually like smart enough and had enough actual evidence that maybe they were actually a little concerned that his information would get into the wrong hands overseas. Maybe. I just have a hard time buying into all that.
The only other thing that I can think of is if it was all just a disinformation campaign targeting through one person. It wasn't to dissuade him. It was to use him to dissuade way more people.
I can see that.
This is not worth looking into. This guy's crazy. Look at how crazy he is. Right. Look at all this stuff that he's saying. Like, doesn't matter if he's right or not.
Right.
Just, this is not a line of thinking that anyone should be taking. This is what happens. You lose your mind.
Also, the odds that he would buy a plane, begin flying it over the region, and come across a downed aircraft.
Yeah.
Why was there an aircraft in that region? Because one way or another, there was an aircraft there. The crash scars there. He did spot it. He reported it to Doty. Doty knew that they needed to, like, that it was there or needed cleaned up, or it was in the process of being cleaned up, and that they needed to hurry, whatever happened. And again, I opened the can and we haven't even taken a drink yet.
Yeah.
This thing, like you made the joke 7 layers deep, this thing, we haven't even got to the actual whistleblowers yet.
We haven't even talked about the actual base yet. This is just the links that was occurring in the 70s, but about the cattle mutilations. Yeah.
Meanwhile, one way or the other, okay, so let's say all of this was just a ruse. Why the thousands of cattle mutilations?
I have another question.
Tens of thousands of cattle mutilations.
I have another question that we haven't even begun to talk about, and this will probably end up being related in another episode if we ever find something to tie it to. What was going on in Oregon?
Right, yeah. Yeah, because this would explain up through Colorado. because whatever aircraft was flying was dropping aluminum shaft in order to block the radar at a base in Longmont, Colorado, 400 miles north. So at the very least, the Colorado mutilations, that was 8,000 of them during this time period, during a 5-year period, during this.
Yeah.
Thousands of them.
Yeah.
Why would our military be flying around mutilating cattle?
Yeah.
I actually am like, what were they doing?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
But Doty claimed that they were working with aliens and there were good aliens and bad aliens. What if, and I'll just throw this out there as kind of an ender, what if they were working with demons and quote unquote angels got involved and was like, your tech's too legit, downed the aircraft, and that would be who they considered to be the quote unquote bad aliens. When in reality, it would have been quote unquote the good angels versus demons.
That's a thought. That is a thought.
And also, if it is demonic, it's like, well, I could see demons wanting to mutilate cows, but it's still, and you could go out on a limb and be like that they were trying to affect cow prices. You could go out on a limb, and here's another thing. NASA was involved in watching Paul. We know NASA's involvement with Operation Paperclip. We know the NAZIs, the Nazguls, the Mustache Man's peoples. They, when they came over after Operation Paperclip, immediately basically worked the system to try to, or basically told like, hey, you're not using aliens and UFO as propaganda. You need to start. So maybe the cattle mutilations were just a process of trying to stir up UFO propaganda in order to dissuade people and get people afraid of aliens. Meanwhile, our government is actually who is the aircraft. I don't know. There's a lot here to unpack.
Yeah.
And we're just getting started.
So tune in next week.
Yes. I know there were a couple shorter episodes, but I felt like they were jam-packed. And again, we made it through 1970s.
Yeah.
We're barely into the 80s. And this thing goes all the way up to current times.
That's been a theme, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It seems to happen a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, we did that thing back in the day.
So, one last teaser. Area 51 is rumored to be the place where they take aliens and do all the research and reverse engineering and stuff. So, Dulce Base is considered the darker Area 51. If Area 51 isn't dark enough, imagine a darker secret military base. Oh, and this is where there's some good whistleblowers that come out in the early 90s and late 80s that interesting. And again, we want to approach this from a place of, are these legit? Is the information they're sharing actual? Is it weird information they were fed in order to try to dissuade and push them away from the truth? But either way, the Greys are involved, and our opinion on what the Greys are.
Yeah.
So if they're involved, this isn't going to be good. So, sneak peek to next week, we will continue part 3 of the Dulce Base. Shout out Xander. One more time.
Good call.
Thank you for this recommendation. This is why we open up recommendations to our Patreon supporters, because you have no information that we don't have. And I hadn't even heard of this place. And meanwhile, we're going to end up with 3 episodes out of it. So, with that question, what is NASA doing with all of that money? And why are they involved, even on paper, with a cattle mutilation case in New Mexico in the 70s? One way or another, they were involved, even if it was fake. And why would the military, even if the military faked it, why would they say that NASA was investigating them? weird. It's just some questions that I want answered. And next week we will continue and we will answer more of your questions. Don't forget to go and join our Patreon, patreon.com/BA Bigfoot. And don't forget
to be your biblically accurate best.
And tune in next week till we continue the Dulce Base. Okay, bye.
Bye.
In the ancient days of giants, when the earth was wild and free, a creature roamed the valleys, cloaked in mystery. Is he born of angels' blood and man, a Nephilim so tall, or a shadow of the fallen, yet heeding the Maker's call? He's a biblically accurate Bigfoot, with a lineage from the skies. Not a myth or legend, but a truth that never dies. Is he a remnant of the Nephilim, a titan standing tall? Or does he have the word of God upon him, the last to hear the call?